We are going live. Yay. Okay. Hey, everyone, and welcome to tonight's guest training with a vendor resource that I'm excited for you guys to learn more about. This is Julie, and Julie is with SPARKHUB, and she has come with us tonight to share some insights and knowledge that she has on the project broadcast landing pages, and also to tell us a little bit about her project, which is the SPARKHUB. So I'm excited you are here. If you are not live on the Zoom, I have the Zoom link plastered all over the Social Synergy group. So it's in the pin post. It is in tons of comments of the reminders. So hop on here if you want to come and join us live. You don't have to have your camera on, but if you want to participate in the Q&A and ask questions, you do need to be on here live. I'm not going to take questions from the live stream onto Facebook, so that I can pay attention to what's happening here as well. So if you want to come and join us live, pop on over here. But I actually met Julie through a friend who told me that she was doing this thing. And I'm like, what is this thing? What is this? I've never heard of it. So then in true Melanie fashion, I had to go look. And I looked at it and I'm like, I messaged her page. I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you. Like, I want to hear more about what this is. And so we met up on a Zoom, just like this one, and chatted. And I just thought she was so fun and very charismatic. And you know that I like good people. So I invited her to come meet you guys and tell you a little bit about the resource product that she has for your business. So all that being said, I have put everyone on mute right now. If you want to ask a question, you can ask it in the chat here on Zoom. And then if time allows, we will take live Q&A at the end. And other than that, Julie, I'm going to pass it to you. And I'm actually going to turn off my camera just so that you're the only thing on the screen. You and your screen share.
Okay. Sounds good. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. So welcome. I'm really glad that Melanie reached out to me and got wind of what's been happening in the world of SPARKHUB. So we're here to primarily talk about project broadcast landing pages. I know Melanie had told me you guys are familiar with project broadcast. You've had Jake Dempsey, the founder of project broadcast, here for training.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yes. How long ago was that?
About a year.
Okay. Yeah, their landing pages, I feel like it was rolled out kind of quietly. There's one day last fall where I just noticed a little section in Project Broadcast. It said, oh, landing pages, they have that. And I started tinkering because that's what I do.
The last thing he left us with is there's some stuff coming and it's going to be very exciting. And it was that.
Well, and they've had some incredible changes, a lot of changes just last month. If you've been keeping up with that, more changes coming down the pike this year. And it makes me really glad that I've created software that integrates with Project Broadcast. And so as they keep rolling out things to get better, so will we. Not to mention Jake is just a wonderful guy. He's been super encouraging to my team and me in our creation of SPARKHUB. And so this is my jam. And I love these that I'm charismatic. I don't always feel very charismatic, but I think I light up when I talk about things I love. So that's what we are here to do. So as far as what we'll cover, hero. Okay. Just what's a landing page? If this is new to you, we'll just touch on that briefly. And in particular, project broadcast landing pages. It's not the only tool out there to create one, but it's one that a lot of us have anyway. And you can create landing pages for free as of last month without a paid plan. So we'll go over kind of the types of content, some examples, some ideas for types of landing pages that you can create. I won't even show examples for everything, but my hope is that you will walk away today with just a lot of inspiration and your head kind of buzzing with ideas of what you can create. And then we'll touch on how to automate your content on your landing page. So you're not in there having to edit a lot. You can automate the content and a lot more using SPARKHUB magical code. So that is where we're heading. But first, who am I? So I've been a direct seller and a tinkerer since 2016. I guess I've been a tinkerer my whole life. And so I've been using Project Broadcast for most of that time that I've been with my direct sales company. And I should mention too who these wonderful people are in my picture. That's Timothy and Christina, my kiddos. We live with my husband, John. He just wasn't on that trip with us, but he's in the picture too. We're in Madison, Wisconsin. And so we've been here. I moved to Madison in 2004. So I've been here a long time and love it here and love my direct sales community. But what I have always been prone to do is creating systems, looking at all the different tools out there, trying to piece together the perfect solution. So I don't know if any of you are like that too. And for a while, I would kind of feel like, okay, I need to like not spend so much time making systems, I need to just use them. But then I realized this is my skill and something I love doing. And it actually is super valuable because when I created my own system for creating on-demand parties, so running events where I wasn't relying on a live component or on a Facebook algorithm to reach my audience, people could access information on demand. I was creating this concept for myself and ended up turning it into a program that now has over 2,000 direct sellers learning DSOD. So that's the Direct Sales on Demand program. I don't know if any of you have heard of that or have heard me on podcasts talking about that. But that was in 2020. And that was putting together the best tools in 2020 to run an on-demand program, which was still kind of cobbling some things together. And I thought, there's no tool out there that runs all the components that we need for an event. The host communication, the sign up page, people sign up and then the host can see it in a portal. We can automate our content. Like, what would be my dream? And so I created it. So along with my husband, he's my software developer. I call him the Spark Hubby. And so my team and I and my husband came together to create SPARKHUB. And so it was this solution that just wasn't out there and that I wanted to see in the world to streamline and strengthen every host experience and guest experience across all your types of events. So it's not a platform for one style of party, it's for all of your events. And taking those concepts that were in Direct Sales on Demand that help to make you less reliant on the live component or on a Facebook group, but they can be done in conjunction with that too. But what are some of the like baseline strategies we need to have in place to help run every party and have them all under one roof and one system? So that's how things have evolved into launching SPARKHUB earlier this year. So I want to inspire you to create landing pages. So first off, what is it? I thought about reading out this long MailChimp definition, but you might fall asleep. Here's just what I think of a landing page as being, just my Julie definition. It's a simple one-page site that you can create for free and you can use for any purpose you want, even if you don't have your own domain. So a lot of you, if you are a direct seller, you know, you have your company website and you might think, oh, I don't know how to have my own website. I don't know how to code, or I don't want to pay for a domain, whatever it may be. But you can create simple websites for free that can have your own voice, your own branding on them. And social media alone can't cover that. You need something anyone can access at any time that you can send to them to point them to your landing page where they can then take action. So there's no algorithm to stand in your way. And when you can create a couple and feel confident in it, then you'll be addicted and you'll want to make them for everything. So where does Project Broadcast come in? Well, as I mentioned, as of July 2022, you can make them with a free plan. So if anyone missed this memo, this is huge news in early July. Jake rolled out a free plan for Project Broadcast. Now, that was mostly for the purpose of using these spaces, which are a collaborative area where you can collaborate with other Project Broadcast users. So it's for like team collaboration kind of things. And the landing page as being part of that wasn't even mentioned in the call where he was telling some of us early about this announcement coming. And I said, well, you said they can do everything except text people with a free plan. Can they make landing pages? And when he said yes, I almost climbed through the computer and hugged him because I was so excited. Because that means that even if you don't have a paid plan that lets you text people and in the future email people from Project Broadcast, you can still have a free plan where you can join these collaborative spaces. That was their big rollout in July, and you can create landing pages. And the reason my second bullet point says they're better than Canva websites is because for the Direct Sales on Demand program, I was teaching how to create a simple site in Canva and providing templates and training for that. And I love Canva sites. If you use Canva, you know that you can create things that are really beautiful, really unique and interesting. But I actually prefer PBLP. So I'm going to say PBLP to save us a total of like 27 minutes because it'll take forever if I don't abbreviate. A PBLP, in my view, it's easier to make sure things look tidy on your page. Because if you're not super comfortable with Canva, you might find, oh, these things aren't quite lined up right, and it can just be a little more finicky. It also has built-in responsive design, and that just means that whether someone's viewing it on desktop or on mobile, it does a pretty good job of adjusting the alignment of things and how things are arranged on the page based on their screen, whereas Canva can get a little funky with that. It's gotten better because Canva created a new website feature, but it's still not quite as good as a true landing page builder. But my favorite thing about PBLPs is you can have code blocks in them. And if you hear that and you're getting nauseous because you're like, that sounds like computer coding, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. You don't know how to code. You don't need to know how to code in order to use a code block. If you know how to copy and paste, you can benefit from code blocks because this lets you do things you can't do in Canva, which is embedding something like a quiz. You can have a messenger chat button on your page. You can embed an issue catalog. You can embed a Canva design. So you can have like a slideshow. I'll show you an example of that. You can have forms in there. I know Google Forms, probably JotForm, things like that can be embedded in your site and much more. And so I just really love the code blocks, and especially because that is what enabled us with the seed of an idea of creating software to have code that you can have on your site where we do the work for you. We actually populate content for you about your event without you having to edit it in Project Broadcast. You can create as many sites as you want, and they are clonable. You can clone your own, you can share them with others. So especially, and if you in direct sales, if you have other people in your company who you want to share something you've set up, you can do that. And they just really show professionalism and show, like I said, your own mark, your own voice, and let you rely less on social media, because even if people aren't on Facebook or aren't active on Facebook, they can go to your link and have the information they need. So I'd love for you to chat in and let me know if you use Project Broadcast, and if so, for what. So a lot of people, think of it as a texting platform, and it's really expanding beyond that. But a lot of people will use it for texting, such as, sending out promos or news. Do you use it yet for events where you're texting your guests? Not just for a text party, but for any event. I think every event benefits from texting. Or do you use it for post-coaching messages, running a challenge, communicating with your team, onboarding or training, things like that? So yeah, Melanie is saying texting, and texting for events, not really good at it, but that's a great start, Mary. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of them just will use it for like a monthly special announcement or something, but you can use it for so much more. It's a little bit clunky for texting for events, though, if you're not using a tool like SPARKHUB to help with people getting opted in. So yeah, so I think the focus is mostly texting. Has anyone created a PBLP? Did you know that you can do landing pages? I feel like it's like not talked about enough. It's this little hidden gem, and one of my favorite things about it. So the types of content you can have, you do have some control over the overall styling in terms of the font family and the colors, things like that. Not as much as Canva, I'll admit, that's true. But since it's best to keep it looking simple and streamlined anyway, I feel like it gives you plenty of flexibility. And then you can have content including text blocks, you can have images that you either download or you can pull in some stock photos they have built in. You can put in videos. They have a social block where you can put your social channels, and it has the icons, and they're all nice and tidy for you. And like I said, code blocks. So I'll show you an example. And since I'm from the world of direct sales on demand, I of course transitioned that concept to the PBLP space. So this is kind of like what I would previously do in Canva, but I can do so much more now in a PBLP. So what you're going to see here is a template that I put together that's available for people in SPARKHUB. So I love putting together templates for different companies. And then of course there's a generic template too, but this will give you kind of an idea of this on-demand possibility. This is just one example of what a landing page could be. So the idea here is that your guests will land here once they've signed up for the event, and they can text you, and you can have other links that take them down the page to other sections. So if they're coming back later on, they've already been through here, they just want to see next steps in ordering, they can hop down to that section. You can have GIFs on here. These are just GIFs to give it a little bit of movement and interest. And what you're going to see here is similar to what you might see throughout a Facebook party with posts, but it's just all in one go so that people can explore this content on their own time. So introducing yourself, featuring the host, and a little bit of a note from the host. Some info. So a great thing about a landing page, if you're using it for a party, is that you can give people the info they need, the logistical info they need. They can add it to their calendar, they can open links, give a little eye candy. A lot of you might have like an about us video that you like to share. And there's another GIF. This is inviting some interaction. So with this or that, they can click to text their answer in, share your why. You can have shoppable thumbnails. I even embedded a quiz in here. If you've ever used Interact, this can be made with a free Interact account, creating a quiz and embedding it so that the guest can, you know, click through and get to their result without leaving your landing page. And then here's where I've embedded a Canva design. So people can swipe through to go deeper on a topic without it adding bulk, without it adding vertical space to the site. I like to have some horizontal space too to change things up so they can swipe through and see some information. And this is created in Canva, but then embedded here in my site with even a video of its own in there. Shoppable thumbnail, a video with a shopping link, those kinds of things. And then the shop post join messaging. So you can see this is really a full presentation that is prompting them to take action. And then this is that social block I was mentioning down here, where you can select from all kinds of different possible social channels and put them anywhere you want on your site. And then they can click to text or email you. So that's a just whirlwind view of an on-demand.
That is so impressive. Like all of the different ways that people can interact. So if they want to read, they can read. If they want to watch, they can watch. If they want to interact and take quizzes, they can do that. Like it speaks to all learning styles. Love it.
Right. And letting them either text, or I think it's at the bottom, although it's under my chat, there's the little icon here if they want to send a Facebook message. So it looks very polished and professional, but then can have your own photo, your own videos, however personalized you want it to be. So that's an example of the types of templates that I love to create for people to use for an event. But another example would be also for an event, but not an on-demand one. So something that has some kind of another component. Because I really want to emphasize this isn't only for on-demand. I think if you're gathering live, let's say you're gathering in person, why not go ahead and give people a little bit to look at ahead of time, a little bit to pique their interest, and an opportunity for those people who won't be there with the group. They shouldn't be falling through the cracks, and they deserve better than just going to your shopping site. They deserve to at least meet you a little bit, see how to interact with you, see the specials, you know, a little bit of your own interaction.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I love it. And so this is another template, but I took this template that was created for this company, Mary and Martha, but I scaled it back a little. So instead of giving so much company information and your why and all these things, this one's intended for, we have a Zoom event. I'm going to tell you all that stuff at Zoom. I don't need to give a full presentation here. This is to complement that other component. So it's a little bit shorter. It has the introduction, The key info here has gather on Zoom, deadline for a drawing, and an order deadline. So people can pop in here, whether they're joining on Zoom or not. This is their info hub, so they know what to do. Thanking the host again. And then just a quick blurb about the company, a catalog people can flip through. They can go full screen if they want to flip through without leaving your landing page. You can show the specials, an order now button, short and sweet, okay? So the idea is get people excited for the Zoom, give them a little bit to already be thinking on to get them excited. And the people who can't join know what to do. So your host isn't having to give people an order link and stuff. You're taking care of everything. You're sending people the info they need. This is a site that one of the people in SPARKHUB told me I could share. Her name is Mel, and she's with Beauty Counters. This is what she created. It was from my template, but she was doing a Zoom workshop. And so with this, people would actually order class materials ahead of time and then have this workshop to learn how to apply the makeup. And they would all be doing it at the same time, learning from this expert. And then a final order deadline if they want to order more products. And with all these, they can add to their calendar. That's a SPARKHUB tool is add to calendar. They can open the link for it. So that has the Zoom link in it. She has just a little bit about the company, thanking the host here. And then here's the host, Nisha. And this shows the different items to purchase ahead of time to get ready for the workshop for the makeup class. And then how to order, short and sweet. So the focus is getting people to that class and making sure they know what to do. Let me close that one. And then there's also, it doesn't just have to be for events people sign up for. It could also be for lead generation. You can create a landing page to generate leads. So this would be for a vendor event. Maybe you have a QR code on your table. You don't have to just send them to your company shopping site. You can send them to something that's really specific about thank you for coming to such and such event. In this case, today only, orders over 75 ship for free. Click here to shop. Here, I've embedded a SPARKHUB form that will opt them into your texts and enter them to win a $25 credit. So if people sign up here, then that's a way to generate that lead right here on your landing page. And then you can complement that with, here was what was featured on my table. So if they say, oh, I remember she had really great candles, but I didn't order them there and now I wish I had. Well, they can see it right here. They can click here and see more about the products that were on your table. So that's just to give you a couple of ideas of the types of things that you can create with a landing page. Oops. But I have more ideas. I don't have like an example to show for all these, and I don't want to be here all night, but I just
love this though. I mean, it just gets your brain kind of like mulling it over, like, okay, I couldn't do that, but I could do this. Like, that's amazing. Love it.
Yeah, so if anyone has their own ideas or an idea that you really love, like, oh, a virtual business card, I could do that. If you've ever shied away from having your own site that really shows, here's who I am, here's what I offer in your own voice, that's something that you could create in a landing page for sure. Or something like here, I said a video with shoppable thumbnails. So maybe your company comes out with a few new products and you want to tell people about them. Have a video talking about them, shoppable thumbnails, that's it. Your landing page doesn't have to be anything extensive, but it's just a really great place to present information in a way that looks really polished and where people can take action. So I'll let you take a look at that list and I'll rehydrate here. Oh, and for a newsletter, if you do a newsletter on a landing page, Project Broadcast has said by the end of this year, they're going to roll out their email functionality. And when you send emails, it will be created in the same way as the landing page builder. So everything you saw there and how beautiful it looked, that can go out in email form in the near future with Project Broadcast. That will be with a paid account. Or something like a page about joining your team. Don't just send people to your company's site for that. They need to hear from you. They need to hear a video from you sharing why you love what you do. And maybe there's a form for them to sign up for coffee chat with you. I don't know, but something that's really truly you, and can spark some of those conversations. All right.
So I love the sweater one that you were talking about because so many are either don't have one at all, because it's like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of work to set up a newsletter or to get your own MailChimp account or do something like all of this stuff. But to have the ability to do something like that takes them off of social media and gives them somewhere else to communicate with their people besides Facebook.
Yes.
And I think that is so incredibly important. And this would be an easy way to do the same thing. Same thing.
Absolutely. All right. And then a couple of tips for using landing pages. Keep it simple. I've seen people who make the background purple and then the font is white, and it can just be kind of hard to read. So I think just a simple, clean color scheme and fonts, things like that, can go a long way and looking really polished and nice. Try to keep the text minimal. So as much as you can, break it up with other visual things. And a lot of us sell things that are very visual, right? Or we can have great photos or GIFs or videos of people using the products and how much they love it. And so breaking that up can really guide the person's eye through your page. And here's a tip that a lot of people don't know in the Project Broadcast landing pages, which is you can save certain blocks of content to use across your account in other designs. So I'm actually going to go in here for the first time into Project Broadcast. So let's look at this. So actually, it's going to go to...
Yay, it's Melanie's party.
I know. Well, I'm going to show how this is cloned a little bit later, but I did a dry run a bit earlier, and so I already have a Melanie's party. Okay, so if I go in here, sometimes it says preview not available because I can't render the code in the preview version, but it'll still work in its final forms. There's nothing wrong here. So if I'm in this editing screen in Project Broadcast, let's say I really like my footer here, and I think I want to use that footer for other websites that I create. I can actually save that by going to the little save button. So I can duplicate, delete, or save this row of content. So it's a row that's split into 2 columns. And if I save it, I can just call it footer, save. Then on any landing page that I create, if I go to the blocks area, I can see standard blocks, like these blank blocks like this, that I could drag in and put content on. But I can also see my blocks that I've saved. There it is, footer. So on any landing page I create, I can drag that in. And I can, of course, clone this landing page too, but if I just want that one block and to be able to access it easily across my account, I can do that. So that was just a handy trick that I don't think everyone knows. Another one of my favorite tricks, I do this in Canva too, is about getting photos into your site. So I don't know about you, but I sometimes feel like I'm making my hard drive do a lot of work. I'm like, I download the photo and then I upload the photo. But you don't always have to do that. So if you just want to snag a quick photo, so let's say you're with Pampered Chef, and you're like, I want to show this pan on my website. You don't have to download that and upload it. You can just right click on it, because most images you see out on the internet have a unique link associated with them. If I go to copy image address, there's an image address that's this long gobbledygook URL associated with that image. Over here in my landing page, if I go to content, drag in an image, and click on the image. I can upload an image, I can drag something in there, I can get a stock photo, or I can paste in a URL for an image. So I'm just going to paste, and there it is. So the first time I did that, just out of curiosity, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I'm going to do that all the time. So especially for things like product thumbnails, I don't want to have to download, upload all the time. So I use that trick a lot of just pasting in the image URL. So again, that was just right click on an image, copy image address, pop it in. And now we have beer bread. Easy as that. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody. I love that little shortcut. I'm always looking for little things that can just make things go a little faster and not load down my hard drive so much. Let me pop back over here. Let's see. Oh, I said prompt the viewer to contact you using SML and email links or SMS. So there are a lot of different places you can have a link in a project broadcast landing page. So for one, in a text box, like here is a text box. And this is just like a lot of text editors you would see. If you highlight some text, you can click here or do Control K to add a link. And you can add it to a website that can open either in the new tab or the same tab. You can have it send an email. You can even pre-populate the subject and body if you want. Call your phone number or send an SMS. So in here, you can type in your phone number, hit save, and then when somebody clicks on that, if they're on a mobile device where they can text, then it will open a text to your number. And you'll see that too on a photo. If you want to have a shoppable thumbnail or say, click this photo for more, a photo can also have actions associated. And that's just what we saw before. So what action do you want to happen when someone taps your photo? And that can open a website.
Isn't that so cool? Like, it is just so cool. And you guys can have full control over this because when you send them to your consultant replicated websites, you have no control over anything over there. You have no idea who has gone there and who hasn't. And let's be honest, I love all companies. I love them all, but some of their websites are a little clunky. And then you get in there and you get lost and you don't know where you're going. And then you just get distracted and X out. But this way you control the journey and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, because the counterpart of this would be if you were having an in-person party, you would not just have people walk in the door and you put your computer in front of them on your site and you go sit in the corner, you know, and have your computer do all the work for you. Like, what's the point of you? Like, the whole point of you is that you're not going to do that. You are a complement to the site. You are showing them your excitement, your own voice, your own introduction, whatever that may look like, your own calls to action, which are not always laid out as clearly on the site as they are from you when they're in context of your presentation. And then it prompts them to the site. That's where they'll go to make the transaction.
Right.
But first you're introducing yourself and what lights you up and make them excited to work with you and get to know you better too.
Love, 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 love it.
Another tip is to keep the mobile design in mind. So right here at the bottom, you can see that right now I'm looking at the desktop view, but I can toggle to see how this will appear on mobile. So you saw everything got skinnier. And so as I'm designing, I toggle between those a little bit because here's an example. Let me click on this row and show you what this looks like without intervention. It looks like this. I've got skinny little video, and then, wow, that's a lot of earring, and that's a huge book. Okay, I don't need, like, the site's trying to be helpful. It's trying to say, oh, we're on mobile, we should stack things to make them easier to see, but I actually don't want it to stack. And so I just click on that row and toggle on do not stack on mobile. So they go side to side. So you might have to do some tweaks like that just to make sure that it's going to behave as you intend when it kind of readjusts things for different sizes of screens. And I love that they have this preview option in here so that you can see how each version will look. So that's just my kind of quick overview of a couple of tips. Let me come back here. And my favorite tip is to use SPARKHUB to automate your content for your events and much more. This is only a tiny part of what we offer. So think a little bit about the content that you saw. So as I said, landing pages can be used for all kinds of different things, not just events, but with something like an event where you're going to be doing multiple events. You might think that looks like a lot of work. I don't want to do that much work. And that's because a lot of the content we see here is going to be reused from one event to the next. You know, I can clone this, I can have the same GIF, I can have my same selfie, my same social channels. A lot of it will be reused, but some of it will not. Some of it would have to be updated. And so it would be a lot of work if you have to come in here and like get a selfie from your host and then upload it to your PVLP and make sure you change out her name and get a little message from her to put in here. And how do you do an add to calendar link and make sure that all of your dates are correct and make sure that you updated with the correct shopping link, you know, all these details that you have to think about. And so if that seems like it would be a pain, what if I told you that you can actually clone your page and in about 2 minutes, probably less than 2 minutes, set up a SPARKHUB event that corresponds with that page. And then your page content is up to date. You have a sign up page for guests. You have a host portal for your host to go in and interact and see the guest list in real time and have all the tools that she needs. And you have organizational tools inside SPARKHUB to keep everything running smoothly. And so the SPARKHUB magic, I will actually show back here on the page. So it kind of blends in here, but I'll just tell you behind the scenes, what you see here is partly things that were added through editing and project broadcast on the landing page. And some of what you see here is the result of SPARKHUB code. So I've got a GIF, got a picture of myself. This is SPARKHUB code. I did not do this. SPARKHUB did this so that when you clone for a new event, it's going to update with the correct host info. Same here. SPARKHUB code shows this key date that I selected. It creates add to calendar functionality for me, for my guests. It shows the correct link. And then further down the page, we have a shopping link. Just looks like a normal button, but SPARKHUB code makes sure that that's going to the correct destination. So I don't have to worry, did I update that shopping link? SPARKHUB does that for me. And there's more to come. So this is just where we are right now. But you'll see in a minute that there's also a section that will welcome the guests by name. So when Sarah RSVPs as a guest, she'll be taken straight to the party page and it says, welcome to Melanie's party, Sarah. And because we can detect which guest is there, that means we can work in the future on things like comment areas. Sarah can create a wish list, having guest forms where Sarah can fill out a form and we can have associated project broadcast actions take place. We can create polls where people can participate, things like that. So we have no shortage of ideas of how this is going to keep getting better. But I want to touch, before I go too much further, on why, in my view, every event needs a landing page, okay? And since it's easy to create one with zero editing on your part, like seriously, it'll take me 2 minutes to clone an event, and that's if I'm narrating while I do it. So it's even less. So since it takes no effort at all, there's no reason not to do this. And it's what I call a party page, partly because P is a letter in SPARKHUB or in Spark, and it's my Spark strategy, and it's an acronym, so it's party page. And it's not just for a direct sales kind of traditional party, but it's any event, you know, any kind of promo or giveaway you're running. If you want people to sign up for your text updates about Black Friday deals over the course of the week, and you have a party page for it, whatever it may be, you can have a party page. So I think of it as a simple one-page site that the guests can view as soon as they sign up. And it contains engaging content so that they can meet you and your company, as well as the logistical info, so that they have the details, add to calendar functionality, all the links they need. They're not juggling multiple links from you. They have one spot that's their main hub. And maybe it sends them on to a Facebook group, or maybe it sends them on to a map to the host house, or it sends them on to a Zoom link. You can do all that too. But the party page is like the basis. That is their central hub of info. And why does every party need one? Live events are always going to have people who can't join with the group, and they deserve to have a great experience. Or it's a Facebook event and not everyone's on Facebook, or they're not active on Facebook. Again, they deserve better than to go to your company's site. Because if they go to your company's site, even if they order, do you ever find yourself wondering, do they even know my name? Did they even notice my little picture in the corner? They might not. And how much more valuable is it when you can introduce yourself as well? It enables you to have an on-demand event. But as I said earlier, even though this was kind of where on-demand started, it started with the on-demand event. And I thought, no, I want to do this for every event. We should always have a party page. And it can feature the host to showcase your joint effort. Most company sites aren't going to do that. They might say Melanie's party on the top, so they know they're shopping the right party. But how great to have a little note from Melanie about why she's hosting, right? You have more control, as Melanie was saying, about what your guests see than you get from your company's site. So your own voice, your own introduction. And it's just easier for your host. And this is also true when you're incorporating a texting strategy, which is also important for every event. If you're doing an event with a host, then the host doesn't have that job of communicating all the details. They just get people in the door, and then you can take it from there. And all the guests have this info hub. And so that's where the guests can go to find out what they need to know, and they know how to reach you. So you don't have your host like in the middle trying to field questions that they don't know the answer to. And if there is a live event, you're warming people up and providing the key info. There's no reason to wait until Thursday at 7 p.m. before you say hey to these people, right? Before you start engaging them and give them a little bit to think about. So warm them up and provide that info that they need. So they know here's a map to the host house, or here's the Zoom link I need, whatever it may be. And so the elements of a party page is going to vary a lot based on the type of event you're doing. That's why I showed a couple of contrasting examples, but I love welcoming a guest by name, introducing yourself, sharing your why, thanking the host and featuring them, having the key info. And then the company or product features might be a little or a lot, depending on how much weight this page is pulling versus if it's, if you have another component sprinkled in. You might show some specials or some call to action, and some next steps for people related to, social channels or opting into your email list, things like that. But as I said, a party page is just one part of what I call the Spark strategy. And the Spark strategy really existed when I taught direct sales on demand. I just didn't call it that. But I think it applies to every type of event that you do. And I want you to think even beyond direct sales parties too, that it might look a little different if you're doing something, say, without a host, or if you're doing something that's a recruitment event or a training event or a challenge. But a lot of these concepts can apply to any event with using that word loosely, where you can think of an event as just something that people sign up for where I want to communicate with them about it. Okay, it can be a lot of different things. So the goals of the Spark strategy, you want to ensure that every guest is connected and informed. They have to know, number one, why they should care. So that's the marketing side, but also what they should do. That's logistics. Make sure you're covering both. You can't have one without the other. No more guests falling through the cracks due to being unable to join live. And for those who plan to join live, no more of them either forgetting or losing interest or being confused about what to do. So again, this was the crux of my DSOD program but they can help every party. This is about having a baseline strategy on top of which you can sprinkle those other components. If you want to have a Facebook group, great. Just don't rely on it. I feel like the enemy is not Facebook groups. The enemy is when we rely on the Facebook group as if it's going to solve all our problems and everyone will see everything that we post. I think we all know that's not true.
Right.
Sorry?
Right.
Okay. I was like, Melanie and I, we talked about this a few weeks ago. We're like, yeah.
Preach it, girl. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we can sprinkle those things on, but they aren't the whole thing we're relying on. We have this baseline strategy. And so it is a unifying strategy to streamline and strengthen every event across all platforms with the tools we need to invite, engage, and inform. And it all happens automatically in a fully integrated way with SPARKHUB. And so this is what I've kind of covered already when I've been yapping, making your host life easier, making your life easier. And really what it comes down to is when you started your business, you probably didn't start it because you're really passionate about doing busy work. You know, you want to connect with people and serve them. And so if you can outsource that busy work to a virtual event planner, then when someone responds to your text and they have a question, that's the goal. That's what we want. We want to have more of our time on that, less on repetitive tasks. Just bring the joy back to our business. So I will cover the Spark strategy briefly for context, but then I'm going to demo how it comes to life inside SPARKHUB. So the letter S is your sign up page. So people are actively signing up when you have some imagery and a description and a host feature about your event. And so SPARKHUB lets you avoid having to use like a Google form or an Evite or something. And then you have these other tools, you're kind of pasting together a solution. It's all part of the system. And it's really important to encourage everyone to sign up. Don't just say, hey, are you free Thursday at 7? Because they might say no. And then they think that they're not supposed to participate. You want everyone who is at all interested in what you have to offer to sign up. And you know that they'll all get a great experience. He is the party or presentation page that we've talked about a lot. One single link that points to other destinations as needed. And then A, this is automated but authentic text messaging. So this could be a whole other training just on text messaging, but I knew a lot of you already use Project Broadcast. You know the concept of texting your guests, but ideally start texting them as soon as they sign up. They complete that sign up form, SPARKHUB enrolls them in your text right away without having to do, if any of you are familiar with like, they send in a keyword, but then you have to do a configurable form and you hope they'll do it so that you know their name and they might not do it. We don't have any of that with SPARKHUB. They sign up, you know who they are, you send them to their personalized party page right at the start. Oh, and I should mention the party page in SPARKHUB does not have to be a PBLP. You can have another destination. If you want to say, I'm just going to send this straight to my Facebook group, you can do that too. But most people use a PBLP because of that automation on it. So just a quick aside there. So starting to reach out when they sign up, go ahead and say hello, welcome them, say how excited you are to connect with them. You may or may not have some other reach outs like tips or a reminder about an event or a deadline. And this is truly about serving them. It's not spammy because you're going to do it with a heart of service to make sure that they're informed and connected. And it's important to know, I think Jake would agree with me on this, that when you're having a texting strategy, a lot of times people don't reply and you might feel like they don't care, but they might still be reading it, okay? They're more likely to read it than an email, for one. And that's okay because they might still be getting it. For all you know, they just were in the middle of carpool at the time. They didn't get back to you, but they're about to place a $200 order. So you never know what people are reading and noticing. You're showing up for them. They know you're available, even if they don't reach back out. The letter R is having a great resource page for your host. So this is a host portal. I've always been a fan of creating a resource page for my host, but with SPARKHUB, the host portal, does a lot more than I could otherwise. So it has an interactive checklist. She can view the guest list in real time. She can click anyone's phone number to text them so she can interact with her guest really well. So I'll show that in just a minute. But your host coaching can be, you know, she has the portal for her resource center, plus some texts from you that are guiding her through that process. And the host can submit the info for the party page and the invitation page and her photo. She has a share button for easy inviting of her friends, just like you would share your Wordle score. She can click share to send out an invitation that's worded by you with your sample wording and a checklist. And then K is about you, because I truly believe if we give a great experience to our guests and our hosts, but we're running ourselves ragged to do it, that's not success in my book. That's not what I want for you. And so it's important that we also have key information at our fingertips. And so for one thing that, you know, there are a lot of tools out there for running a party in a specific way. SPARKHUB is for all of them. You can have in-person events and promos and training events for your team and Zoom events all under one roof, all following a similar strategy. So there'll be different variations for sure, but they're all in one place. You can view guest list and interact with guests from it. You can view checklists. And again, just less stress for you and more time for that connection. So again, this is the baseline strategy to help hold everything up and hold it all together. And it can be done with ease. So I want to demo this for you. And I have not been monitoring the chat. So Melanie, just interrupt me anytime you need to. But
I'm good. I think they're just in watch mode.
Watch mode.
Yeah.
That works. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to this site that I had created. I don't remember if I edited things, but I don't want to keep them. I'm just going to X out and not save. All right. So let's say I ran this event that I loved. I had my party page I loved. I had my SPARKHUB setup that I loved. And now Melanie wants to host an event and I want to run it the same as before, but it needs to be for Melanie this time. So you saw on the page before, this was hosted by Jane. That's actually Trisha, but we're going to pretend it's Jane Doe. So Jane was our host. We had this event on August 30th, but now I want to clone this. Now, what I'm about to do, you're not going to follow because you haven't learned SPARKHUB yet. It's just to show you how quick it is. Okay. If you're like, what did she do? This isn't the training for you. This is just demo. Okay. So all I have to do is grab these characters because that was my old event ID. And then come over here in SPARKHUB. Now I'm actually inside SPARKHUB. I'm going to create a new event, cloning that one. Now I need to clone my landing page. Clone landing page. And I'm going to rename it so that I can just keep track in Project Broadcast that this is Melanie's Amazing Party. Okay. And I'm not going to touch this. I'm not going to do any editing at all of my landing page because SPARKHUB will edit it for me. I'm just going to grab these characters because over here in SPARKHUB, that's my new event ID. Create my event. And I don't have to change much in here. I can keep the same description for the invitation. A lot of things can stay the same. My checklist will stay the same, but I'm going to just rename the event. If I need to do a new order now button or an order link, I can put that in here. For my host, I need to enter her in, whatever her phone number is, and save. The sign up page will be the same as before. Key dates, well, her order deadline will be different from Jane's. So I'm going to update that to be September 3rd. Add other key dates if I need to. Our checklist looked good. My PB actions that are applied to a guest when they join, they might be the same for every party, or you can change them for each event, whatever you want to do, where you can add them straight to a campaign, etc. But that's it. It's ready to go. I didn't time myself. That was probably 90 seconds or something. It's ready to go. So I'll show you what that created for us. For one, my first step once it's set up is to send the host portal to Melanie. So I would send that to her, and this is what she would see. So now I'm in the host portal, and she can see the name of her event. These are notes from me. Now, in the system, my name is SPARKHUB app, but if your name is Sarah, it's going to say notes from Sarah, okay? And these are notes that I have configured over in SPARKHUB. So notes for the host right here, that's in my host portal for her to see. She can see the key dates to confirm information. She can see her checklist. And by the way, this means I can also see her progress on the checklist to see how she's doing.
Nice. Very nice.
She can click to text or email me from inside the host portal. That's built in. She has some setup steps. So on the sign up page, we're going to have a note from her. You haven't seen the sign up page yet, but there's a spot for a note from her, and I've given her some sample wording, but she can just say, I wanted to host because ... whatever Melanie wants to add to that. And then same thing with the party page. You saw that there's a note from her there. She can upload a photo. Melanie, I took the liberty of grabbing your Facebook photo. So there you are. That's you, right? I'm like, there are a lot of Melanie Moores, but I think that's you.
Yeah.
And then on this screen, so this works best on her phone, but she can copy invitation message and share a message that I've set. So it's like a sample wording. We all send our host sample wording, right? But this way we don't have to say, okay, here's your sample wording, copy and paste it. It's built into this share button. Just like if you share an article from NPR or something, you know, it might have some text already filled in. Same, it's using the same mechanism here, but it's you as the consultant, you get to set the sample wording and a photo. And when she clicks that from her phone, it will pop up with all the options. So she can text it, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Facebook post, GroupMe, Voxer, whatever she has, or email, and she can share it out from there. And as she shares that with her friends, so that's my whirlwind tour of the host portal that, you know, I didn't do anything to set that up. That was just done by SparkHub. Once she sent that out, what will her friends see? So now I'm her friend who is going to sign up for the event. And I get this link from her. And so it has a header, it has a description, has her photo. Remember her typing this, I wanted to host because. It shows anyone else who is signed up. We're about to update this so that you can hide that if you want to. Because if it's like a drawing or something, they don't need to see a guest list. But by default, it shows any other guests who have signed up, just like you'd see on Evite. And then I can sign up. This is the kind of name my husband comes up with when he's writing code, by the way. So he'll have all these pretend events hosted by
He has to entertain himself.
No, like Hosty McHosterface is, you know, stuff like that. So actually I'm going to put in this phone number, and email address is optional. You can have a little privacy policy down here that you write. So just to show people like I'm a professional here. And once I sign up, so I'm Guesty McGusterson, and it took me straight to the party page. Now remember, this is a PBLP that I did not touch. I cloned another one, I renamed it. I didn't actually edit anything, but it knows the name of the event. It knows my name. It's featuring my host and a note that she configured. You'll see the order deadline updated to September 3rd because I had set that in SparkHub. It added this for me. This is going to automatically be in the person's own time zone for them. The link I want to give them, and everything is ready to go. And in the meantime, if I'm Melanie looking in my host portal, I'm going to refresh the host portal, invite and view guest. Oh, yay, my friend Guesty has signed up. I can click her phone number to text her to communicate about the event. Oh, and I just heard my phone buzz because I just got a text from Julie Godshall. So I'm guesty. I just got a text from Julie Godshall that includes my party page link. So if I close that tab, it's okay. It's in my texts. And it's a welcome text from her. And that's just whatever you want it to look like in Project Broadcast. So if you have a paid Project Broadcast account that includes the ability to text people, then you can send that welcome text. And this was really a big missing piece, because with DSOD, I really emphasized having a texting strategy, but it required kind of babysitting your RSVPs. And when someone would join, then you shoot out a text to them. And with this, I didn't have to babysit it. It automatically sent her that welcome text, including her party page.
That is amazing.
To start that conversation with her.
That is amazing. I love
so,
that part.
All that from a 90-second setup. And now all I have to do is, for one, if I have another component like a Zoom or something, I'm going to do prep for that and interact with my guests. Because if they respond to me in Project Broadcast, the beautiful thing about Project Broadcast is you can have the automation and the scheduling, but you can also just chat with people in real time. So if Guesty sends a message back to me and says, those earrings are amazing, tell me more, or I have sensitive ears, what earrings will work for me? Then I get to start chatting with her. And that's what lights me up. That's what makes me more excited to do what I do. So that was my whirlwind demo for you. And I'm just going to kind of recap here where we're at. So Project Broadcast handles the automated texting involved with your event if you have the paid account, and it handles the party page, which you can do with the free account. And then SPARKHUB comes in to complement that. So it lets you take, I say 5 minutes, but as you saw, it's less than 2 minutes to clone, update your event info for a new event, and it creates for you all the tools you need. Your sign-up page, your automated enrollment and texts, automation of the content on your party page so it's customized to your event, thanks to that magical code, the host portal, and your organizational tools. Because the other part that I didn't show is if I go out here to my events list, I can see all my events in one place. Melanie's awesome party. I can text Melanie. Actually, it's going to open in Project Broadcast. So if I clicked there, it would open Project Broadcast chat with her. I can see my checklist. I can see my guest list here and text or email a guest from here. So I have these organizational tools in one place for all of my events under one roof. And so I feel like it's really this match made in heaven. So we wanted to come alongside Project Broadcast and create this kind of virtual event planner to help you use Project Broadcast in a really powered up way. And as Project Broadcast continues getting better and better and adding more functionality, so will we. So for instance, they're going to be adding more CRM type functionality in the future. And so in the meantime, if you're running your events in such a way that you get people's info on the front end and you're building up your contacts list, that's going to complement really well as they roll out some CRM functionality for your ongoing communication and relationship building with those customers. So just to recap, type in your information once. SPARKHUB magically creates for you all the tools. You have your automated messaging thanks to Project Broadcast. I don't know of another tool out there that does that, by the way, to where people, you can use SPARKHUB literally as an opt-in form for your texts too. Your event could be my text series and people can sign up for it. And on that sign up page, see a little bit about what they can get from your texts. It gives you the host portal, your invitation page or sign up page, the party page, your events dashboard to keep you organized. And you have clonable templates. So you can always clone your own events like you saw me do, but you can also share them with other Project Broadcast users. We knew that was a feature from day one. We knew right from the start that since, SPARKHUB isn't just for direct sellers, but we knew a lot of our customers would be in the direct sales space and want to be able to share things with others on their team. So you can very easily clone a template or an event setup from another user if they've made it shareable. But beyond what I already showed you, there's also a really awesome learning center. if you can't tell, I love teaching and training. Going back to, I met my husband in grad school. We came to grad school at UW for math. Yes, we're a nerd couple, proud of it. And my favorite thing in grad school was teaching when I was a TA. And so getting to come back to that has just really lit me up. And also, especially getting to teach on something that I've created lights me up so much. But I knew I wanted to go beyond just here's how to use my tool. It's also going into strategy. So there's kind of this quick start course. It's about an hour's worth of small, short, bite-sized videos that goes through how to use the tool so you can get up and running, and you use templates from me to get up and running. But then there's a course called Design Your Perfect Party, where I go a little bit deeper on the Spark strategy, and you have a great worksheet where you can design, okay, what do I want my messaging strategy to be? What will be my host checklist? How long do I want to run my event? So you can go through this exercise, create that worksheet, and then plug it into the tech to match so that you can run your parties just the way you want, with our templates as a starting point, but uniquely you. And extensive training on party pages. So I barely touched on it right now, but I have more training and then more to come on PBLPs. But not everyone is a DIYer. If you're like, I don't want to fool with if it's going to look good on mobile versus desktop, that sounds like a nightmare. We also have design services. And so there's an additional option of just telling us what you want your page to look like. So we have the worksheet to fill out where you say, I want to have this video and this wording and this link, and then we will put it in the page for you and make sure it looks amazing. So we wanted to really be able to serve people, whether you're a DIYer or you're someone who would rather let us handle the details and you focus more on your strategy and your plan. We want to serve everybody on the spectrum. So SparkHub, we have a free trial for you, a 30-day free trial, no obligations. You can cancel anytime. And after that, it's $12 per month or $119 if you pay upfront for a year. So you're getting a couple months free. But we also have an affiliate program. And so if you, let's say you're using SparkHub and you want to refer someone else, then if they use your code, you both save $5 off of your SparkHub account. So you can get free SparkHub. And if you refer enough people that you're like, I don't need all this credit, we cash it out. So that's something that I can do for like people with a big team. If it reaches over a certain amount, you can cash it out or donate it to charity. So that is our affiliate program. And I want to inspire you too that this is beyond parties. So I touched on this briefly, but you could use the same framework, the same system to keep organized on other types of events, like a challenge, a giveaway, a team training event, a recruitment event, all kinds of things, or just a simple opt-in. So as far as next steps for you, and then I can take some questions if we've got them, is join PB. If you haven't yet, after being in Melanie's world and hearing from Jake a year ago, then it's time to join. So I don't have a link here because I know, Melanie, you have an affiliate link for Project Broadcast. So make sure you get Melanie's link so that she gets credit for referring you. And like I said, you can join with a free account even and start tinkering with those landing pages. But a paid account is well worth it because texting strategies are huge. And start your free trial of SparkHub. So I have a code here to save you $5. And during your free trial and beyond, you get all that training I talked about. You get templates, and then you get the done for you design option and support. My team and I love supporting people. We love when we get questions in our inbox to help with, troubleshooting or just bouncing ideas around. I've had people say, hey, if I want to use it for this, what would that look like? And I love thinking those through with people. So we are easy to reach and very responsive. And if there's ever a problem that requires the knowledge of the software developer, he sits 5 feet away from me. And so we get it done. It's really great support. And another next step is to chat with me about equipping your team. I actually had a meeting this morning with a leader to talk about templates for her team and how to share SparkHub with them. And so if you like what you saw in those templates that I showed you, we can do that for your company as well. So we can talk about that. So underneath here, I have a site that I set up, sparkhub.app/Melanie. And if you go there, I have another kind of demo of SparkHub where you can sign up as the guest and you can see the text come from me and you can see a little bit more about the
That's a
tool.
great idea. An interactive like that. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a SparkHub event about SparkHub. So
Nice.
it's a little meta. And then I also have my email there for you to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram. And we have a Facebook group that is not just for people who already use SparkHub, but anyone who's curious about it. So you can go ahead and join that as well. So I think I've reached the end. I'm going to have some water and see what Melanie has to say or if there were any comments.
That's awesome. So I snagged this screen right here. I already have it saved, so I'll put it for everybody who's watching online. We have a lot more watching online than in here. But I will put that in there. But Julie, this has been amazing because it is it's next level. It's next level stuff. And people are so frustrated with social media. I think this is a great option for people who are super frustrated right now. Something that they can control themselves, that they control the messaging, they control the entire journey for the guest and for the host. And I think I can turn my camera back on. Duh. I'm just like talking, but I think it's great for that. And I appreciate you coming and sharing with us. Anybody that's here in the Zoom, if you guys have any questions, you can pop them in the chat and I'll ask her. But anybody who's watching in the Facebook group, I would suggest that you join her Facebook group down there at the bottom, the Spark Strategist Facebook group, or you can email and ask any questions that you might have there for them. And nope, nobody there has said anything in our chat here.
Okay.
I think they're all just like, whoa.
Taking it in, yes.
Yeah, so much good stuff. But seriously, next level. I love it. It might be a little bit much for some people, but it's just like anything. There's tutorials. Like you didn't know 2 years ago how to do what you do now. Like it's all about learning and all about trying new things. And I think you've done a great job explaining, and you've come up with a very powerful and amazing product.
Thank you. And if you don't quite wrap your head around what SparkHub does yet, that's totally okay. Because I hear from people sometimes who have gone through the training and they'll say, at first I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh my gosh, I get it. This is amazing. Because once it clicks, then you realize, oh, I get to just repeat that over and over. And it's so, because once you set up that first event the way that you want it to go, the rest
That's what I think it is. I think it is getting in there and doing it one time. And then all of a sudden you're like, yes, this all makes sense. It's everything. As I'm watching this, the whole thing I kept thinking was, this is what they asked for. And this is what they asked for. And this is what you've literally like taken that wish list that people ask for in parties and what they're struggling with in Facebook parties, and fixed it. And I think that's just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's how we did this.
And like I said, I think, Melanie, we talked about this a few weeks ago, that one challenge some people have had in the Direct Sales on Demand program is they'll say, I want to run on-demand events, but all my hosts want to do Facebook events because that's what they know. They think it works. They are gung-ho about it, even though I'm just like, I don't want to do it. And after a while, I thought, why fight it? If your host wants to do a Facebook event, you don't need to tell her you're doing a SparkHub event. There's no such thing necessarily. It's just a Facebook event supported by SparkHub, where, okay, we can do a Facebook event host, but instead of just adding people to a group, send them to this page. Once they sign up, I'll get them to the Facebook group. So yeah, we can still party there, but behind the scenes that you're not putting all your eggs in the Facebook basket. Sure, you have a Facebook group, humor your host, engage with people there. It can be fun, but it's just one component and it's not what you're relying on, because you have underneath it the safety net where you're still reaching people, even if they're not on Facebook. Maybe they're on Facebook, but they don't see your posts, whatever it may be. You still have the texting strategy, the party page, who's signed up and who's interested. And maybe they purchase because of a Facebook post. Maybe they purchase because of your party page. It's working together, which can be really nice when you have a host that really wants to do a Facebook party. sometimes we just need to give them what they want, but we know in the back of our mind that we have a better strategy underlying it.
Right. But they don't necessarily. No.
Right.
Right. But like I said, it is literally everything that everyone talks about that they wish they had or wish that this did this. And you took it all and you did it. And I can't wait to see what y'all come out with. Every time that Project Broadcast says something, I'm like, oh yes. And now I'm gonna be like, yes, every time you say something. Just adding on. Because it's just, I love people who have their finger on the pulse of what's happening in the industry, and it's not people who haven't been in the field or worked with people in the field in 10 years. Like, I love people that are like right there, like they know exactly what is happening and how to fix things. And I love businesses like that too.
And just listening. I mean, I'm only one person with one point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can have all the ideas in the world, but some of the best things in the software are things that were suggested by our beta testers early on, where they said, oh, what about this? And I would think that makes sense. Sure. And so we have a lot of ideas coming in from the user community, and it's always going to iterate. Any good software doesn't stay still. It's going to always iterate. Yeah. And that's why we have plenty of things to keep my husband busy. To just keep getting better and better. It's really exciting.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julie, for being here, and we appreciate you. And like I said, I will upload this. I took a screenshot of it so I would have the slide. I'll upload it into the group, into the comments for everybody to be able to find you. But I appreciate you so very much tonight and for taking the time to come and talk to our group. And we're getting some thank yous over in the chat too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, all of you, for joining, and anybody on Facebook watching or watching the recording. I would love to hear from any of you, hear your thoughts or your ideas or your questions. I'm easy to find.
Yeah, so we're going to drive them into your Facebook group so they can get questions and stuff. Great. Thank you so much, Julie, and thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Have an amazing evening and a great upcoming weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.